Well, hello there, everyone. It's great to be back again on YourTV for another update for the city of Belleville. This week's update is for October 25th. And I hope that everybody has had a good weekend. We've had certainly a lot of rain, more than we've had for the last number of months, but we need to recharge our underground water systems, and that is good. I always start off my updates with a review of the COVID-19 situation here in our region. And we started off this week with 6 new cases, as well some people recovered. So we stayed at that number of 20 active cases that are in the region right now. Of course, we've had 1,468 since the very beginning of COVID, and unfortunately, 14 people have passed away. However, this week, we start off with 0 people hospitalized, 0 people on ventilators, and 0 in intensive care, which is a good news. And it's because of our vaccination status. As a matter of fact, since the beginning of COVID, we've gone through 192,616 tests in our region, and that's about a 0.7% positivity rate. So that's a very small number. And the reason why that number is small is because we are controlling the spread. We've done a very good job of following those 3 C's, or 3 W's, I should say: watching your distance, wearing a mask, and washing your hands. But in addition to that, because so many of us have been vaccinated, currently 89% of the population, or just over 133,000 people, have received their first dose. And we have over 124,000 people who have received their second dose. So that's 83% of our population. And you can see the positivity numbers have shrunk, and that is because of that vaccination. The fact that no one's in a hospital right now is also an indication that if you do get COVID and you've been vaccinated, the likelihood of recovery is much stronger. And about half of the people that are in the hospital now are people who are not vaccinated. So it's important that we continue to get vaccinated, and I encourage everyone to keep doing it. This week started off with a city council meeting, and many of you may have watched it on YourTV, but we had a number of issues that we had to deal with, including we had some deputations, meaning that people came forward to make presentations to city council. And this week's meeting started off with Brandy Hodge from the United Way doing an update on the important work the United Way does in our community, as well as some of the challenges of COVID and some of the things that they've had to do because of COVID. Specifically, the meal shopping program for seniors when they weren't able to leave their homes earlier in the COVID pandemic, and a number of things they've done. They continue to do great work for our community, and we're lucky to have Brandy and all of her team and all the volunteers. And we look forward to getting back to a normal time. They are doing a fundraising campaign right now, and we hope to have some good news in January for them to achieve it, but it is an exciting time. We also had the Kiwanis Club of Belleville come forward with President Marjorie Buck. And Marjorie Buck is very well known to us. She has been the president off and on of the Kiwanis Club of Belleville for many years. And she was also a city employee, and she worked in the Parks and Recreation Department for many years, including as an acting director for some time. And she came to speak to us about the 100th anniversary of the Kiwanis Club, and that they want to sort of renew their some of their activities. The Kiwanis Club have been great supporters of the city of Belleville, and they've made many donations over the years to a number of things, including the Kiwanis Bayshore Trail that runs from Myers Pier east for several kilometers. And Ms. Buck came to council and talked about the fact that next year will be their 100th anniversary of acting here in Belleville, and they want to look at upgrading or replacing some of the existing structures that after a period of time have come into a little bit of disrepair. So we heard from Marjorie yesterday, and I think that council will be very supportive of some of their ideas this fall. And we, of course, supported them for some funding applications that they're doing as well. And the last deputation this week we had at City Council was John Hack from Sierra Planning. And they are our consultants for a number of official plans that the city has. So for example, we want to have a strategy and we want to have a longer term idea of where we're going and what we'll be doing. And he was at council this week to talk about the Parkland and Recreation Master Plan. So all of our outdoor and indoor spaces of what we're doing. And there is a report that was presented to council, and there were questions about it in terms of that long-term vision. And we are going through a public process where we had asked residents for feedback on the master plan now as we developed it. And now that we have a final draft, we're going to put it back out for people's input and to talk about everything from outdoor basketball or tennis or pickleball courts, more park spaces, more playgrounds, indoor activities, as well as the expectation that we're going to see significant growth in the west end of the city, west of Potter's Creek, all the way to Walbridge Loyalist, and north from Dundas Street all the way to Bell Boulevard. And in those areas where we'll have literally thousands and thousands of new homes, we're talking about a recreation facility out there that would take a little pressure off the Quinney Sports and Wellness Center and be able to give people services in their part of the city. And so there are many things in that Parks and Recreation Master Plan. I encourage you to go to this website here where you can review it and provide your feedback as we look to finalize it. The last time we did a study of this type really was in the 1970s, and it is time for us to be looking going forward. Another thing we did at council was we had a number of items in terms of business that we conducted, including Belleville is joining a group called the Bee Cities. And bee cities are communities that are bee friendly because as pollinators, they are vital to the existence of all living life on the planet, including human beings. And so we are joining to help protect our pollinators and preserve our spaces for pollination. You may remember the Let It Grow campaign that we brought in earlier this year, where we are not cutting the grass in certain areas to allow pollinators to thrive and to flourish in those areas. Well, we also are now joining the Bee City initiative, and council made that decision this week. We also provided an update on all of our COVID relaxations. Last week, the province of Ontario announced further relaxations in terms of the plan for reopening, and that started on Monday this week. Full capacity in places where people must provide proof of vaccination before they go. And so we provided an update on some of those initiatives. Also, we provided an update on hours of operation for city facilities, including the Belleville Public Library, City Hall, and then the fact that we're having more and more programs at the Quinney Sports and Wellness Center. I know people are excited about that. And I am wearing my Belleville Senators sweater because this week we're lucky to have two games in the week. We have a game on Wednesday evening, and then we have another game on Friday. And that game on Friday evening will be very exciting because we take on our rivals, the Toronto Marlies. And so I encourage people to buy tickets. They're available. The CA Arena is a safe place. I was there for some games with my wife. We really enjoyed it, and they can be at full capacity. So I encourage everyone to do that. It has been a busy week from the last time I provided an update, and certainly I was so fortunate to be able to attend the Quinney Home Builders Association dinner last week, along with Mayors Jim Harrison from Quinney West, Steve Ferguson from Prince Edward County, and Mayor Brian Ostrander from the town of Brighton. And we provided an update to the building industry about the programs that the cities, all of us do to help our developers and what we see as moving forward. And so I was really pleased to share with them and remind them of some of the steps the city of Belleville took to help the construction industry continue during those COVID times. And I thank them for their adhering to all the rules and protocols and keeping things going. But that was my first evening dinner meeting since COVID started. Way back on March the 13th, I was able to go to the Holy Rosary Catholic Church dinner to celebrate the burning of their mortgage. They had finally paid off their mortgage of that facility. And that was the last dinner event that I attended before COVID. So it's nice to be getting back to normal. And the Quinney Home Builders were gracious hosts for us that evening. Since the last time, we also had a very exciting Diwali celebration, the first ever in October the 17th. And it was led by our Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Committee. And here are some outstanding photos of that day. It really was a wonderful day. And we were really grateful to everybody coming out. You know, Diwali is one of the largest celebrations in the world, certainly over a billion, with a B, a billion people celebrated around the world, and Belleville was happy to join in that. Last week was Small Business Week in our region, and the regional chambers of commerce put on an excellent week. I started off by providing greetings and talking about the importance of small business and the fact that 92% of everybody employed in Canada works for a business that's under 100 people, and how important they are and how difficult it's been through COVID. But we also finished the week off with the Quinte Business Achievement Awards, and wonderful news to hear some of our winners from Belleville in terms of the health and wellness category. Quinte CPAP, congratulations to everybody there. The Tech Business of the Year was a group called OSM, and Councillor Feeney was able to attend that event on my behalf and present that award. The Trailblazer of the Year was Tire Wizard, an online tire purchasing site. And the Business Person of the Year was our very good friend, Eric Lettinen from Impacto Protective Products. And Eric is a great guy. He serves the city of Belleville as a representative on the Quinte Economic Development Commission as an appointee of the city. And he also financially supported the Diwali celebration that was at George Segoras Market Square this year. He's a good person. But I also want to talk about the Manufacturer of the Year. And the Manufacturer of the Year was, I don't know if you can see, maybe if I move back, was Hexo. And Hexo is our cannabis producer or manufacturer in the industrial park. They purchased the old Sears warehouse, and they've done millions and millions of dollars worth of upgrades and renovations, and they're producing. And they were selected as the Manufacturing Business of the Year in our region. So congratulations to Hexo and to everybody that was involved in it. Continuing with the very busy week last week, we had the Mayor's Luncheon for the Arts. The Quinney Arts Council hosted that, and I was pleased to join them to celebrate local photographers Bob House and Mark Hopper, but also artist and Lisa Morris, Ralph Johnson, and the Bay of Quinte Regional Marketing Board all received awards this year. So congratulations to them all. And I know I touched on this before, but I want to talk about it again because it really was a super, super event. The Dr. James Bertrand Collip Memorial. Dr. Collip was a resident of Belleville, was born here, was raised here, and he went on almost 100 years ago, it'll be 100 years in January, that he went on to discover insulin and be able to treat diabetics, and have literally saved millions of lives over the years. And Ian Sutherland, Richard Hughes, and Rolly Tipper were the driving force behind this memorial and a garden that is now located on the Bayshore Trail along Keegan Parkway. And as I said, it's going to be 100 years ago in January that Dr. Collip discovered insulin. Of course, he went on to do many more things, and he is really renowned. But we were able to have the great grandson of Dr. Collip, Major Charles Wyatt, in attendance from San Antonio, Texas, with his family, and it really was wonderful to have that event. And thankfully, Mother Nature cooperated and didn't rain on it, but it was truly terrific. And then just to give you everyone a heads up, and I'll be able to report next week on a few events that we're having this week. On Thursday this week, the Mayor's Prayer Breakfast returns. And what was supposed to be an annual tradition starting in 2019 had to pause in 2020. But I'm so pleased that we're coming back with it this week, where we celebrate all of our religious institutions, all of our houses of worship, and what they do for our community, both in terms of charity, but also ministering to their congregations. And it's exciting to be able to take a moment and thank them for their contributions. Friday this week, Friday afternoon at 2 o'clock, at the corner where the traffic circle is, at the corner of Farnham Road and Maitland Drive, we will be unveiling a new park in the city of Belleville, and we're naming it after former councillor Patricia Culhane. Pat Culhane passed away almost a year ago. It was very sudden, very shocking, but she would be so pleased that we're naming this park after her. It's the first dog park in Thurlow Ward in that urban area, and she had such a soft spot in her heart for animals, and so she would be really, really pleased. Members of the public are welcome to join us for this outdoor event, but that's on Friday this week at 2 o'clock. And then lastly, we're very excited about Rogers Hometown Hockey that is coming this weekend. On Saturday at 11 o'clock, we'll kick things off at the Quinney Sports and Wellness Center, and there's activities at the Quinney Sports and Wellness Center in Lot D in the far southeast corner of the Quinney Sports and Wellness Center. There'll be all kinds of activities for family to come out there, hockey, music, all kinds of things. And on the Monday evening, across from City Hall, there will be the live broadcast of the Hockey Night in Canada game, which includes Ron McLean and Tara Sloan. So with that, that's my update for this week. And I hope that everyone has a great weekend. If you have any questions or comments for myself or any members of council, please feel free to contact us through our City Hall websites information. And I hope that everyone has a great weekend, and we'll be back in touch next week with another update from the City of Belleville. Thank you.